Hi everyone, it's Paula. Welcome back to Trapani's Tech Tips for Teachers, where my goal is to help make teachers' lives a little easier. Today's tech tip has to do with the grading options now available in Google Classroom. I had gotten a few questions from teachers and I didn't know the answers. So I Googled around, and I have to say that the website support.google.com is super helpful, but it's a little bit wordy and there are multiple parts. So, of course, if you want more detail than what I show you here in this video, definitely take a look at support.google.com and type in grading in Google Classroom, and you'll come up with, all the ins and outs that have to do with grading. But a couple of new features appeared, and I wanted to show you a couple of things. So, number one, I'm just going to get to my classes here. So, when you get into Google Classroom, one thing you can do is configure the class, Google Classroom, to actually calculate grades for you. So that's something you have to configure in the settings of your class. Then once you have that, you have a different visibility inside Google Classroom, a new tab that shows up where you can see a quick chart of the students, the work they've been assigned, and their overall grades. You also have the option of downloading a copy of your gradebook from Google Classroom as a Google Sheet. And I also learned that a couple of changes are in the works already. So apparently, Google is listening to us now that so many people are using it, and they're really working, as quickly as possible to, I guess, put into effect all of our requests. So let's take a look here. If I go into, I'm going to go to my practice class. If I go to that class, the first thing I have to do is configure the settings. So let's click on the settings icon in the upper right corner. And I'm going to scroll a little bit until I see the category called grading right here. Um, and what the default setting is for overall grade calculation is no overall grade. So unless you do something, Google Classroom is not going to automatically calculate grades for you. However, if you click this little arrow, you can choose to have them calculate according to total points, or if you are going to weight things by category, totally your choice. I'm just going to choose total points just so that we can see something when we go back um, into the class. Then you have a couple of other options here. You can show the overall grade to students. You can turn that on or off. It's up to you. However, if you want students to have access, you can turn that on. And you can also add categories for your grades: project, quiz, test, that sort of thing. If you wanted to add categories, you can do that. So once you have made the changes that you want, you hit save in the upper right. And you'll see now there used to just be three tabs across here: stream, classwork, and people. And now there's one for grades. So once you, have reconfigured your settings, you can click that grades tab, and you will now see I have very few students in my class and very few assignments, but you can see, a quick chart of the assignments that were created and the score, and, whether they were assigned, not assigned, missing, late. And if I had given grades, say in all of these categories, the child's overall average, the overall grade would be right next to his or her name. It's also a great way just to sort of get a snapshot and say, this kid told me that he didn't get a grade. I swear I graded it. And when I look here, there is no grade. I can just type right in this from this window right here. So you can add a grade, or just, like I said, get a view of, what has, what the grades are per assignment. The other thing you can do is, let's go back. We're in the class, and if we click on the classwork tab, you can also download your gradebook as a Google Sheet or a CSV file. So if we click assignments and view assignment, you can click Student Work, Settings, and copy all grades to Google Sheets. This is going to create a spreadsheet that will appear in the Google Drive folder called Classroom that was already generated for you. So this sheet, you'll find this title inside your Google Drive. And if you haven't already discovered it, there is a folder that was auto-generated called Classroom, and then it's broken down further, by each of your, there's a folder for each of your classes and things like that. But that's where this gradebook will appear. As you can see, I was very in my practice class here, I've not been very good about assigning grades to things. So the spreadsheet is pretty useless, but yours would, have some value. Something that is coming soon is that there will be the option to view your gradebook or divide your gradebook into quarters or semesters and then see the overall grades for each of those, sections as well. Now, so this was the teacher point of view. So in our, as the teacher, we altered the settings, we can view the grades and see what, our students are doing. From the student's point of view, there is also a way for them to see kind of a quick, table of their grades as well. So why don't I go into a class that I'm not a teacher of, but rather a student of. Here, I'm a student in this one. And so if I click, now I'm a student in this class. If I click the classwork tab, then I can see this new link that appeared here called View Your Work. And when you click that, you'll have a snapshot view of all the assignments and labeled as, missing, turned in, or whatever the score is. And if I wanted to drill down, I could see, which assignments were assigned and are showing up as missing or not, which were returned with a grade. I was not graded on any of these, so that didn't help me, and which are missing. So you can, divide it or just view the whole, the list of all these categories. So the kids can actually view this and you can share that with them. They can simply go into classwork and click that link at the top that said view your work. So I don't know why it's not going back. There we go, view your work. So for both teachers and students, a couple of new features to help you, stay organized and stay on top of your assignments if you're a kid, and stay on top of your grading, I suppose, if you're a teacher. So hopefully this was helpful. If you have any other details that you'd like to learn about how to manipulate or work with the grading feature of Google Classroom, definitely check out support.google.com. Thanks so much for watching. If you found today's tip useful, like, comment, or share. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss a thing. If you have any questions, comments, or requests, you know where to find me.